Good evening. My name is Alan R. And tonight, tonight in my time, I am facilitating the third of 5 sessions of Night's Black Operators. This is my tweak of the Operators cinematic role-playing system from SJK Publishing for play in Ken Height's setting, Night's Black Agents, which is published by Pelgrane, I think. The scaffolding for these sessions comes from Graham Ryder-Hanrahan's The Zalozhiny Quartet, and we are picking up in media res to an extent. But first, let me ask the players to introduce themselves, tell us something briefly about their character. We have one new player with us today and a new character. I'll come to him last. So can I start with Puckett? Say hello and tell us about Mia Smith, Puckett.
Hi there, I'm Puckett, he, him pronouns. I am playing Mia Smith, who is a hackish type person in her 20s, who apparently has been kind of drummed out of the CIA for annoying her superiors, probably by quoting My Immortal at them, since we have now established that she has an AO3 account and likes fanfic.
Thank you for that. Yeah, you won't find reference to that, viewers, in previous sessions. That is all chat around the sessions. Moving along, Pavel, say hello and introduce us to Carl Smith.
Hello, I'm Pavel. I'm playing Carl Smith. Both pronouns are he, him for me and for my character. Carl is a cold-blooded killer who worked for Polish Grom until he found out too much of vampires and his own colleagues would try to take him out. He's working now with those lovely bunch of characters. He is, as far as I remember, still the only character with a big, huge beard, and he usually wears like military clothing, always ready to jump into action. Yeah, action specialist.
Thank you for that. Moving along then, Sabine, say hello and tell us about Dylan Herbst.
Hi, I'm Sabine. I'm playing Dylan Herbst. He is an operative of the BND, the German Secret Service. He used to go out and be undercover and make people trust him and then betray them and blackmail them. He had a bit of enough of that, but still he has lots of contacts and he still is in the life despite the fact that he wanted to get out, but that didn't work out anyway. So now he's hunting vampires because, well, what's a boy to do?
Yeah, for someone who got out of the BND because he didn't like what he did, if anyone were to watch the last episode, they would say that Dylan did quite a bit of that, but he's doing it freelance now, which is much easier. Okay, Leandro, say hello and introduce us to Victoria Lack.
Hi, hello. My name's Leandro. I use he and pronouns. I'm a guest for this series here for tonight, and tonight I'm playing Victoria Lack. She, her pronouns. She was an asset handler working for MI6, the British Foreign Intelligence. Basically, you know, in those kind of like Bourne films where there's the person on the phone coordinating things. That was kind of her job. She was quite good at it because she has eidetic memory. She can't forget things, much like an elephant is claimed to never forget about things. That's never been tested. But part of why she'll say she was drummed out of MI6. It's because, she knows that she's really good at this job and kind of rub people the wrong way in MI6, which is a bad thing to be when you're meant to be handling, you're meant to be the ones giving orders. You're meant to be the ones who are coordinating agents across the continent, across the globe. But when your agents kind of just really don't like you, you get a vibe, and it doesn't help that I think probably around the time when she said she voluntarily left the agency. That was when I think the last operation she ran, it was some sort of snatch and grab in the Czech Republic. And that's when, I'm not exactly sure yet, but vampires happened. That's my only idea. Vampires happened. it led to like her operation being decimated. Basically, she was the only one who basically had concrete evidence something supernatural was happening, but because of her abrasive personality, MI6 were like, yeah, you maybe you should just step back, Victoria. You know, you just step away for now. Part of her kind of like figures, well, I'm probably better off, probably too good for this agency, but there are vampires out there. Something should be done about that.
I'm fascinated by Victoria's ID picture. Is this a deliberate effort to obscure her past?
She'll say it's artistic. She'll say it's a flourish. But I think it's her attempt at being arty for sure.
Okay. I should have said I go by he, him. And we're playing with lines and veils. They're in the character keeper. The players I've played with all these players before. They're all familiar with the idea, and if they know that if they want to add one, either a line or a veil, then they can add one. The last thing to say is that this session is being run as part of the Gauntlet RPG online calendar of games. If you don't know about the Gauntlet, then you really should look it up. If you Google the Gauntlet RPG, you will find loads and loads and loads of stuff. I mean, there are hundreds of games running every month, and it's October, so it's GauntletCon, an online gaming convention starting on the Thursday, the 24th of October, running through to the end of Sunday, wherever in the world you are, actually, because there are games being run in just about every time zone you can imagine. I think we're on all the continents this year. I haven't checked that, but I believe that's to be the case. You know, even if you're not part of the Gauntlet, even if you don't know anything about the Gauntlet, please do check out GauntletCon 2019. And come join and play with us for a session. I'm running 4 sessions, playing in another 3. I'm sure that all the other players here are either running or playing several. So you can come and meet us again. Okay, and with that, I think let us cut to a discreet tea room in London, where Victoria is met by this individual. Victoria knows him as Percy Scarlet, and since she left MI6, Percy has provided her with a way to keep body and soul together with a number of freelance jobs of one kind or another. And Percy has asked to meet her. Victoria, what's your impression? What impression have you gained of Percy in your several meetings to date?
I think I get the feeling that Percy is amused by me. I get the feeling that he's playing dapper rather than being dapper, and it's getting a bit annoying.
I think that's a very perceptive comment. He is certainly pretending to be something he isn't. Quite what he is, maybe Victoria at this point isn't clear, but he's very pleased to see you, Victoria, because the fact is, I need a little bit of expertise somewhere. Are you at all interested?
If it's anything like that job you gave me in Bratislava, well, you can just forget it. I'm not getting involved in the ice cream business again, Percy.
Yes, but we both know that they weren't making it with cream, don't we? So, look, Victoria, the bottom line is, I know that you have mortgage payments to make, and you know that I'm about your only source of income.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe I could chance it, Percy. I'm sure my sister Clara will be willing to. All right. I think she. Oh shit! Hold on. My internet's flared up there for a moment. Sorry about that. What was the last thing you said?
What he's clearly putting the arm on you here. You've got bills to pay. you know that he's the only person who's prepared to pay you the rate for your expertise. You could certainly, I'm sure, get a traineeship, in Marks and Spencer's at any time, because you're a very well qualified young woman. But the kind of money you need to keep your lifestyle going, so far, Percy is the only person who seems willing to pay that kind of rate.
I think, yeah, whatever protestations I have, and I think I think Victoria scrolls straight over her mind, like, oh, I'm sure my sister Clara can let me stay at her place. I mean, she's just a working writer. That lifestyle pays well. It'll be fine. But I think it goes to her head quickly enough. She does the calculus, and she kind of like takes her tea, takes a really long, drawn-out sip, and just says, like, well, I better be working with competence, Percy. Again, go ahead. Again, not to keep going back to Bratislava, but those people didn't even know the difference between pistachio and cookies and cream, even though they're as different as night and day in different sides of the globe.
Well, Victoria, the fact is, you know that independent operators are a variable bunch. And to be honest, Victoria, one of the reasons I'm interested in involving you in all of this is that I kind of need a safe pair of hands.
Well, I'm not going to pretend that isn't flattering at all, Percy. All right. What sorry sack are you handing to me to try and wrangle into something decent this time?
I have an operation ongoing, which is about to cross Romania. They are at the moment under some pressure as far as my intelligence gathering can discover. And so I just need to have someone I trust with eyes on. And Victoria, you know I trust you.
Percy, I said I appreciate the flattery, but there is such a thing as pushing it.
No, but you're good with people.
I'm only good with good people. And these people better be good.
They're very good. I've got plane tickets and a rendezvous that I'll set up for you. You just need to get to a motorway service station east of the Carpathians.
That shouldn't be too hard, after all. As you guess, I have a good big schedule of, looks at her phone, absolutely nothing to do.
That's very good, Victoria. Usual terms, of course, and he'll slide a newspaper across which will contain your papers and necessary cash for travel and tickets.
Victoria will take the paper and tuck it like under her arm. Well, tuck it under her coat, and she'll tap the table and says, "You're paying."
All I need you to do, Victoria, is make sure that they're beginning to have a go at these chaps we're up against. All right?
Do they know what kind of chaps they're up against?
Oh yes, no, they don't worry about that. They're entirely clued in on this sort of stuff.
I think Victoria just kind of like makes a dramatic look away and remembering those kind of chaps that she had tangled with. And she says, "All right, I'll be off. Always lovely to see you, Percy."
Thanks, Victoria. I'll see you when you get back, perhaps.
Maybe when I see you, I'll be buying.
Yes, I'm sure that'd be lovely. Now, I must away, and I think we cut at that point unless Victoria wants something to do. Right, can I cut back then to the outskirts of Tirsapol in Transnistria, where now I'm going to assume that our fifth character, Moshe, is driving the van, and the deal is that you're taking different routes. Yeah. That allows me a convenient narrative device to have him disappear for this session and then reappear next session if he can return in time. That puts Mia, Carl, and Dylan in the car that Mr. Happy provided.
Can I make a suggestion?
Oh, sure.
Speaking at the expertise of characters we have at our table, I would like to suggest that maybe we would like to leave Mia investigating the monastery and seeing that we have two characters that like talking to people. Maybe we should move to Debrecen, which I think is in Hungary, and work on these drug deals. It feels like it might be better for characters who are more about talking.
Well, let me continue to lay out the scene, and then there'll come up a decision point, I think, for you. So I think probably this means that Mia and Carl are splitting the driving. And the question I have for you is, my guess is that you're approximately following Mr. Happy's route because you need to get across the border into Moldova as discreetly as possible. And then from Moldova, your initial plan, I think, was to head west towards Vienna. Mia, the telephone goes, your phone goes. And the number
is it my burner or my actual phone?
It's your actual phone. And the number recognition comes up at the number on the back of the card that Wing Commander Lenat gave you in that cemetery outside Sarajevo.
Okay. Well, he's calling on my actual number, so that's when I usually pick up for.
Hello, Mia. There's someone I need you to pick up en route.
Okay.
And he'll give you a Google Maps reference for a service station just the other side of the Moldova-Hungary Romania border.
Anything special I need to know about this, Wing Commander?
Just that I've sent someone along to help.
Okay.
And do make her welcome, Mia.
Please, you've met me. Do you think I would do anything other than that?
I have complete confidence in Mia. I do appreciate you picking her up.
Of course.
How's it going, by the way?
We're not dead. So I consider that promising.
One ahead of the game, then.
As long as we're not dead, we can always make more progress. As for how it's going, a little messy in Odessa.
Yes.
I think we're back on track.
Yes. Assets on the ground tell me that poor Donald has disappeared.
Do you know if he has merely disappeared, or are we assuming that he is no longer with us?
To be honest, I really have no more to tell you than that, Mia.
All right.
He's certainly been taken, and there's no sign of any activity at his villa. I don't hold out great hope. So do be aware that he's probably blown.
At best. He was on the phone with us when we heard what sounded like a very bad car crash.
Yes. Terrible accident, that. Well, I must away.
Yes. And what's the name of this person? Countersigns, anything like that I should be aware of to verify their identity?
Oh, she's got some pictures of you. I'll send you a picture of her.
Okay. Pictures of you, like the Cure song.
And indeed, shortly afterwards, a picture of Victoria Lack will appear via WhatsApp. Okay, so you're in the car. What do I see happening in the car, Dylan, Carl, Mia?
Well, I think under the circumstances, I'm driving because, as we talked about with Carl, he needs to be able to shoot. And it's going to be more difficult for him to shoot anything that he needs to shoot if he's also trying to keep the car on the road. So, yeah, trying to make sure that he gets to do what he needs to do if he needs to do it.
So what's the nature of the conversation in the car?
Conversation. I mean, I'm imagining that Mia puts up some music and everybody is thinking about their own stuff.
Are you kidding me? I am grilling Dylan about how the footballer was, if you catch my drift.
Oh, well, you know, gentleman never talks about that stuff.
Seriously? You expect me to believe you're a gentleman?
No. Oh, you've got me there. Yeah, what can I say? He was young. He had a lot of energy to burn off. A lot of energy. Wow.
And I mean, footballers, I mean, just look at him.
Yeah, he's ripped.
I mean, the dude looks like he was chiseled out of marble.
Yeah, well, felt like it too.
I'm not gonna lie. Little jealous of you. I mean, a little jealous that you got that job. But I mean, look, I never learned how to talk to dudes. I learned how to talk to computers. I mean, people. Well.
Yeah, people get messy if you stick around, you know.
Oh, good thing we got out of there when we did. He might have wanted a second date.
Yeah, that could have been problematic. I mean, he was kind of pretty, but really the small talk was hell.
There's not a whole lot going on upstairs. It's all going on south of the neck.
I don't know if I'm not a huge fan of football. That's all. I mean, yeah. My brother was a huge football, and he was always, "Hey, Dylan, let's go play football." And I was always, "Oh my God, I have to go and pretend to be a real boy and stuff like that." No.
It sounds awful.
Yeah, that's. But I got away from that into something that was a lot more awful, in a way.
Well, I mean, you got to hook up with that guy. I mean, that was at least. I mean, that can't have been all bad. I mean, once he shut up, right? It was good after that.
Oh yeah, it was good after
that. So, what do you think about this handler or whatever it is that we're being?
Why do we need a handler exactly?
I think he just wants eyes on us to make sure we aren't fucking up too much.
We haven't fucked up yet.
Well, are we not counting Odessa? Does Odessa not count?
No, where have we fucked up in Odessa? We found out stuff. I mean, that's what we were going to do, right?
Look, we found some stuff out. You know, we kicked the hornet's nest. We made it out alive.
Yeah, that's I think that was the mission goal.
I mean,
go find out stuff, get out.
We lost
alive.
Donald, but
yeah, but really, Donald, if he was seated in Odessa and he got tired with our rush, it's on him, not on us. We never pointed anything at Donald.
Yeah, you got a point with that. I mean, they would have had to have eyes on him already, or to have had eyes on us talking to him somehow. And that means they would have had to be aware of us before we even got there.
Might have been.
Oh.
I mean,
on the one hand, I feel better. I don't feel like it's our fault, but on the other hand, it makes me wonder who was under surveillance and for how long.
I don't know. I mean, what I'm thinking is that Donald should have seen them coming. He was local. He should have seen them coming.
Dude could make a burger, though.
Yeah.
I mean, Carl, those burgers, right?
Yeah.
Burgers were good, but they really got the other character.
Moshe.
Yeah, but once Moshe took over, that the burgers got much better.
Among the many things Donald was not, he was clearly not a chef. I mean, I think there's a long list of things that he wasn't. Chef was certainly among them.
Well, yeah. Poor Donald. I would drink to him if we had anything to drink here.
Funny you ask. And I reach into my pocket and pull out a flask.
What is that?
You said anything to drink. Certainly anything.
Okay, I don't know. I mean, is that American stuff?
Listen, I am a fan of small batch bourbon. This stuff, the stuff that's in this flask, is the stuff that I carry with me in case things go really, really badly sideways, and I either need to drink to a fallen compatriot, or I need to make sure that whatever I'm going to have happen to me in the next 10, 15 minutes doesn't hurt too much. This stuff runs like about 150 US a bottle. It is good shit. Well aged, single barrel origin. It's good.
Just one question. Is this what the nerds call healing potion in their nerdy games?
No. This is the good shit. This is stuff that you drink and you see it's good. It's so good that if you're an atheist, you suddenly believe that God exists and is just and merciful for allowing something of such a beauty and wonder to exist.
Oh, that's hardly a danger I want to face.
You can try it after Dylan.
Just so that I can whisper a little bit, be a little bit closer to Mia, because she's still driving, right? And I say, hey, I have an idea. Let's share this after we meet this handler. See if we need it then.
Oh, God damn it, Dylan, you have a point.
Yeah. That's why I'm the talky one.
I think that's probably seen. And Dylan, I think that we heard about you pretending to be someone else then, didn't we? So I think you can count your training as primed for that little expose on our footballing prodigy. Shortly, shall we say you're halfway across Moldova now. Mr. Happy's guidance on where to cross the border from Transnistria into Moldova went very well. And Dylan, you get a message from Mr. Happy, and it's a simple message. It says, "I thought you should know there's a truck ahead of you somewhere, I think, and this picture shows one leaving." And it's a picture of that shipping organization that the Liskys control, Baldak Shipping, with a number of people being loaded in the back of the lorry.
Like people, like, I don't know, human trafficking victim people, or like mercenary people, or
aged 4 to 70. Difficult to see. It's a grainy photograph, but they're definitely civilians.
Weird. Yeah, I'm showing this around.
And he signs off with bon voyage.
Yeah.
And before I cut to a certain service station on the far side of the Moldovan-Romanian border, we'll undertake another conceits of the operator system, which is that we have a cutscene with our villain. We know our villain is Joe Lisky, sorry. There he is. And we cut to Joseph Lisky on a private jet. Probably now the better part of 6 or 7 hours you've been driving since you left Tirsapol, spelling the driving, stopping only when you have to, aiming for this stop. And Joseph is on his private plane, perfectly turned out as always. And someone hands him a telephone, a mobile telephone. And the other conceit of this is that all the villains talk in English. So Joseph says, Mr. Gusev, I no, thank you very much for taking my call. I so wanted to say thank you for the gift personally. It will be very, very useful to me. And I'm sure it'll make life simpler for you as well. Oh, yeah, yes, no, I will certainly come to visit you soon. You have quite a football team there, I understand. Yes, yes. Thank you again, Mr. Gusev. And I hope that FC Sheriff's season is a great success. Yes, goodbye. Puts the phone down. And we scan over his shoulder to look down at the table in front of him. And there is a Polaroid, or a scan of a Polaroid, I think. And the Polaroid shows the boot of a car open, and somebody shining a light into the boot of the car. And some of the light illuminates a Baldak shipping container truck in the background. And in the boot of the car, with his mouth taped up and his hands and feet bound, is Mr. Happy. And then we cut back to a certain service station just the far side of the Moldovan-Romanian border, where you will see a woman who looks like the photograph that Wing Commander Leonard has sent you. Victoria, you will see. Well, no, hang on. How do the three in the car approach this?
I think if Mia's driving, she just pulls up, rolls down the window, and says, "Get in, bitch. We're going shopping."
Victoria?
I would say Victoria's not wearing the suit that's in the picture. Obviously, that's way too conspicuous. So it's just a nice thick sweater, probably a beanie, hair is tied back. And I think she'll lets out a really annoyed sigh, but gets in and says, "Where are you taking me shopping then?"
Oh, I just thought it'd be a funny way to say hi.
Oh, it's hilarious. My sides are splitting at the careful deployment of humor there.
If your sides are splitting, then maybe we do need to go shopping and get you a new jacket.
Well, go on then. Take me shopping.
And we peel out of the gas station.
I need a new hat anyway.
You can't have too many hats, Dylan. Victoria, they look like the files that Percy sent you. So basically, anything that's on their character sheet, the character keeper, you know about them. But I'm going to invite you to have a brief flashback of you preparing with the files.
It's quite simple. It's probably back at home, and I say home, the room she's renting out of her sister's place. And she's looking through the files, and it's just 1 second glance, shred, 1 second glance, shred, and so on and so forth. And I think this goes on for a while until all the files are shredded, and then she'll take the bin full of the shreddings, and she'll go to like her sister's classroom and toss a clump of it there, and then she'll go off, go to the local recycling center and toss another clump there, and then go off to another recycling center and toss another clump there, and then she goes off to get some ice cream.
Fine. Because you're only here for the one session, I'm going to count that as priming your discipline, because we see your eidetic memory in play. You ought to actually use it properly, but we'll not worry about that.
I'd be kind of curious if Dylan could try to read Victoria a little bit.
Oh yeah, Dylan will start immediately, but reading is best done when having a little conversation to go with it. So he will introduce himself because he's in the back seat. I think Victoria's in the back seat, so it's like, hey, I'm Dylan. Didn't catch your name.
It's Victoria.
Nice to meet you.
You're BND, right? Or formerly, I guess. No one here
formally.
is anyone.
Formally.
So I'm trying to think like what else would Victoria know? Like, okay, what's probably like what's an operation that like Dylan is like inadvertently come across with like MI6 back in the past?
It's totally probable that I've been landed out to MI6 on joint missions or some stuff where they had to get a certain diplomat in a situation where he might be amenable to suggestions because otherwise certain informations would have been leaked to the press.
I think Victoria's sitting
or his
quite.
Wife.
Ooh, yeah, there's a wife there.
Yeah.
Victoria's kind of sitting quite primly on her seat, almost regally, and she says like, "Dylan, BND, you worked with Veronica and Horatio back at that extraction in Madrid, right?"
Yes, I did. That was me.
They had some very kind things to say about you in the report. And if I'm going to be honest, they had some very unkind things to say at the pub. But that's either here or there, I suppose.
Yeah, well, I guess some people are very traditional in their values of home and family. It's not that. It's okay. I'm used to that.
Still,
But you can see, as he says, that he is kind of playing with his keychain. It's sort of a rainbow. It's kind of a strip of leather colored in rainbow colors, and it's clearly an LGBTQ thing. And he's playing around with it.
I think Victoria probably doesn't. Well, no, she's looking at like the. She's sitting at the front of it, probably. Is she sitting at the front or sitting in the front?
I think Carl's at front.
Okay, Carl's at front and Mia's driving, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Victoria sees you playing with in the corner of her eye, and she says like, "Oh no, no, Veronica. What they had to say was more to do with minutia, like certain operational parameters. But again, that was neither near nor there. I'm sure, given where we're at and what we're doing, you'll do fine."
Thank you for the confidence, Victoria. And he's giving you a big smile.
I think that if that's what you had in mind, I think that triggered the use of your symbol.
Yes, that is what I had in mind.
Fine. So if you tick the box on that and recover that stress from last time.
Yes.
And doesn't that also prime her discipline?
Yeah.
Well, let's see how that goes. Because I think now that Dylan's had a conversation, Dylan is about to read somebody.
Yeah. Well, I've read a lot about her. She likes to read up on people. She likes to tell people that she's read up on people. She likes to feel superior. It's pretty clear.
So what skill are you looking to apply to this?
No, this is just a general impression I have formed of Victoria. I don't want to roll any skill. I just want to prime my thing.
Yeah, and technically for a discipline, we have to see you use it.
Oh,
in order to prime it. So I'm inviting you really to either use talk soft, or surveil. Take your pick, really.
I want to talk soft. I mean, I'm flirting, but I'm not talking to her. I'm trying to warm her up a bit. So I'm talking soft. I'm just seeing, oh, well, I've got a plus and a complication, which is fine.
I'll just store that complication.
Yes, store my complications away.
So if you wanted to ask Victoria one question to which she has to answer honestly, you could now do that.
yeah, I would like to understand if she's here to fuck us up or if she's here to help us.
I think definitely. I mean, you're completely right with your perception of her. She absolutely is saying all this to demonstrate what she knows. But I think you'll get the sense of like she's kind of the way her body language is going, and the way like the more she kind of brings up like stuff about what people have said about you, it's more the case that she's trying to like plug any gaps in her knowledge. She's trying to like, make sure this is airtight. She wants this to go well. She's not here to screw you over. She's here to do a job and get it done, and then go back to buying more ice cream, I suppose.
Seem like a reasonable answer? Okay. I'm going to burn a complication on Mia, Carl, and Dylan. I would burn one on Victoria, but she doesn't have one yet. So in fairness, do prime your reading people now, because you have just read people. So we know you do it. So we can wait for you to do it really well next time. And the complication is that as Mia is pulling away from this rest stop, where you may well have rested a moment at least, onto the main road, a Baldak shipping container truck goes past. What do you do?
Motherfucker. Is that the one that we just got the photograph of?
Yeah, I think so. Pretty sure it is.
Carl, how are you shooting from a car?
It's always good, but any point of doing that? Do you want me to just like kill the driver?
I'm thinking maybe shoot out the tires.
Yeah, but there are people back in there, and didn't look like they were having seat straps. I mean, do it, but what do we want to achieve here?
I mean, it's probably a trap, but I don't like the idea of letting a bunch of people be shoved into the back of a panel truck and transported who knows where for who knows what reason. Especially when there were kids in there. Now maybe they're vampire kids, but they're still kids.
I'm not hugely knowledgeable about vampires, but would they let themselves be shoved like that in the back of a truck?
If it's a trap, maybe.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if they're all members of the Lisky Bratva, if they're all vampires, I mean, a truck full of vampires is enough to kill most people, even us.
Yeah. Yeah, so sure.
So this is why I'm saying, is this something that we can reasonably do? I mean,
if it's a truckload of vampires, we probably can, but if it's a truckload of normal people, we can try to rescue them, if that's what you're aiming at.
We all in on this?
Yeah.
Carl?
Sure.
All right. Victoria, you just got in the car. You don't get a vote.
She raised an eyebrow.
Terracing off.
So taking a leaf out of the Blades in the Dark approach, I'm curious as to what approach you are going to take to this truck. You know, is it attack it, whether to shoot out the tires or whatever, or are you going to try something else?
How new is the truck?
I don't think Baldak Shipping spends an enormous amount on maintenance, enough to allow it to drive in the European Union. So I guess it's probably 5, 6, 7 years old. That's the cab. The trailer is probably older than that, and the container, well, who knows?
Okay. I pull out my phone because if it's 5, 6 years old, that means it has CPUs running it. And I can shut the damn thing down remotely. So
I'm certainly prepared to see you try that, Mia. Yeah.
No shooting, no flat tires, no crashes. The thing just sputters to a halt.
Does the plan go any further than that, or will that do for now?
Carl, Dylan, Victoria, I'll actually listen to suggestions here. Now that we've agreed we're doing this.
Well, we have to take them out, right? So we can pretend to be good Samaritans and stop and offer them help just to see how well they're armed, how many there are.
So you want to take on the truck driver and kind of say, "Hey, buddy, what's going on?"
Yeah, they get like, "Hey, do you need help? What's going on? Should we call somebody?" Just to, just to get close to them, really.
Should we have Carl? Carl, you want to be on Overwatch, or you want to be down here?
Because I think what you're doing is inadvertently coming up with a series of obstacles. Obstacle 1, it's moving. So we've solved that one, we think. Mm-hmm. Obstacle 2, get close to them. I see a way that Dylan is setting that one up. Carl, what obstacle do you perceive you're going to come against? Remember, this is my way of asking, what spotlight do you want on you in this operation or bit of one?
There are 2 SUVs, one driving before the truck, the other one driving behind the truck.
Thank you, which you have yet to spot. Yeah, I think that there's an escort. Fine. Victoria, which obstacle do you want to add to this mix?
Wow, so actually, if I wasn't here, you'd have one less obstacle.
Yeah, but also one less operator to solve problems with.
Okay. Let's see. I'd say the obstacle is that no, you can stop the truck. There's escort. There's the driver. Not exactly sure. Can you run me down? This is part of the system, right? Coming up with obstacles, right?
Yeah. In theory, whenever you are setting up an operation, and that could be anything from something as kind of small and seen like as this as something quite large, each of you has a chance to describe an obstacle. And the theory is that you describe an obstacle that allows you to be the spotlit member of Mission Impossible who overcomes the obstacle.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I made a character that's good at talking to people. Right?
You got shooter 1.
Oh yeah, I did move my stats at your discretion, Pocket. Yeah, I think you can see that the people, the folks in the SUVs are armed really well. Like they're not just common variety gangsters with old Soviet surplus. No, they've got some really good gear in them. Stuff that may be a bit more explosive than one is expecting for what looks like a simple shipment.
I like that. So we have an escort car, and we are expecting the escort to be surprisingly well armed. Yeah, or surprisingly competent. Fine. So, Mia, it's moving. Talk me through what happens, because are you still driving?
Yeah. Come on, I can do 2 things. I can walk and chew gum at the same time. I mean, we're just talking about car CPUs here. We're not talking about anything, this is. So I pull out my phone, my actual phone, the special one. And I just start tapping away on it while I'm driving. It's like I'm doing the exact thing that you're not supposed to do. It looks like I'm texting and driving, but what the hell? Why not? And what you see is some command lines coming up. And you can see that I'm already in the chips operator, or in the truck's OS, and I'm hacking the chips. And basically, I'm just like, moving this file, deleting this file, tap, 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 look up. Okay, I'm not hitting anything yet. Hey, Carl, hold the wheel. And I start tapping away with 2 hands. And all right, think we got it here. Tap and roll.
Yeah, now a really unpleasant facilitator would now say, okay, it's time to roll for drive then, surely. But no, I will go with hack. Mia.
2 pluses, 2 minuses.
Okay, so that's so you succeed. You're in there. You have a plus.
And then some. Plus
You
to
have
play
a
with.
plus to play with.
And you get 2 complications.
I do, and that puts Mia back up there in the stakes. I'm going to keep those. I might burn them in a bit, so you're in, and you have an advantage. So how do you want to spend that advantage in relation to the obstacle that the truck is moving, or have you got something else in mind?
I think that the advantage actually turns out to be something accidental and unintended. And that's that in the process of shutting the truck down, it inadvertently speeds up and rear ends the SUV at the forward SUV escort vehicle.
Now we're beginning to rock the action movie. Okay, so you accelerate the truck into the SUV that Victoria spotted leading the truck when she was getting into the car, because she's observant like that. So it hits the back of the SUV. What do you want to see happen then, Puckett? Mia?
Well, you're talking about a big truck in the back of an SUV at speed and even at increased speed. So I think at the very least, it's going to knock it off the road and might roll it a couple times.
I think I'd have it roll it if you had another plus to play with, but so far it's skidding down the road away from the front, because now you will then have stopped the truck, I think, yes?
Oh yeah, the truck's, the battery's died and the driver's like stepping on the gas and like you can see the driver cursing. It's like, what the hell?
Okay, that's fine. So what do we see happen now? Because you've driven up, you're approaching behind this this stalled container truck.
Yeah, but that's great. That's even more reason to get out and ask these people about if they need help because there's been an accident. And I'm hoping for the other two, like Victoria and Carr, to cover me while I draw their attention, which is a idiot. Okay, I'll do it anyway. So I'm going up there. I have on a very nice, jaunty hat. And yes, exactly. And I'm, hey, excuse me. Are you in trouble? You look like you're in trouble. Hello.
And the driver winds the window down, and he's looking at the controls of the truck of the cab, as if to say, I don't know. It accelerated and then stalled.
Is he alone?
He is alone.
Okay,
but I think I need you to roll surveil.
Okay, because my plan now, if he's alone, was to pull my gun and tell him to just sit there, just sit tight, and nothing bad will happen to him. But if he moves the fuck, I will blow his head off. So
this is talk hard by the sound of it, Dylan.
Yes.
Okay, Dylan, talk hard. We don't see Dylan talk hard often, but it's good to know that he can.
Oh, he can. Yeah, I've got a plus. And I've got 3 complications, but I might burn a stress just to make one of these another plus and have only 2 complications. Okay. I think that might be not, because this is a bit exciting. Me in the middle of the road. Yeah, that's exciting. So, yeah, I have then created an advantage. One of those.
You have. Yes. So what do you want to do with that advantage? Or do you want me to tell you what I'm going to do with my complications?
I want to keep my advantage, to give it to either Victoria or Carl to use in their shooting, because I am creating a distraction while standing there. And probably these goons with the guns, they won't see that I'm having a gun on the driver. Okay.
I'm going to burn one of the two complications I've got left on that roll to have him already have his gun out of sight below the window that he's wound down. And so the gun appears over.
I shoot him. I shoot him. I just shoot him. If he doesn't listen to the fact that I have a gun at his head and he's, oh, I have a gun too, then no, we're not playing. I'm not playing this.
That's what I was going to ask. Shoot or dive? You shoot. So go with shoot. You have the advantage of that to play with.
Yeah, that's a good thing I do, because wow, I've got 2 pluses, which means I make it, and I've still got the advantage.
This guy is a mook in the scheme of things. He is much less capable than you, and a single hit will take him out. Do you want to do anything else with those? Because in effect, you had 3 pluses going for you there. Your shoot is 2. So you have 1 advantage to play with. Do you want to do anything with that now?
Yes, I have a silencer on.
Aha! Fut.
Yes, and the guy's just dropping and I'm climbing up, and you can immediately see that something happened to him.
Fine. But I think I will spend my remaining complication from that exchange to have a couple of guys. I'm going to assume the lead SUV is about 150 yards away. It's finally spun to a stop, and I'll use my complications to have 2 guys get out of that SUV. Let me cut to Carl. What do we see Carl doing while this is going on?
I think we see. For some reason, I'm assuming it's happening after the dusk. So no, after.
Oh yeah. No, MI6 operatives never meet in the daylight with anybody, so Victoria would have been timed to get there at dusk. Yeah,
of course. So I think we see Carl get out of our vehicle. It is probably, I imagine, parked in front of the truck, and we see he jumps over the railing that is usually on the side of the highway, and just hides behind it, so that he has a good drop position on anyone coming here, because we know the other truck is coming, and we see he is actually hiding there and getting ready to engage.
Okay, that sounds like he's concealing himself, ready to ambush. So would Carl roll to conceal himself, please, which he has a skill of 1 in.
It goes very interestingly, 2 pluses and 2 minuses.
Is any? I can't see your dice set, Carl. I mean, it doesn't matter, but it's just I don't know why I can't.
It's under. Are we in the same room, or did we change the room?
Oh, I think we changed it. It's hang on. We gave Sabine the opportunity to pick one again, because she always picks a good one.
I couldn't find the other one.
Monthly Hopeful Lamb. Yeah.
Monthly Hopeful Lamb. Oh, sorry about that. I should have made it clear.
Because I'm in the old one. I saved the link. It's on the character keeper, but yeah.
Oh, you don't want the one in the character keeper. That one is suicidal. We know that from session 1. Don't go there. No, don't go in that room.
It was Ghastly Immune Adler, the previous one. Okay, blue dice, submit. This time it's 2 minuses.
Do you want to convert any of those minuses to pluses using stress or anything else?
I think I will first use my discipline. I'm a ghost. They never need to know I'm there. I will use it to reroll the blanks.
Good plan.
Oh, wow. Now it's 4 minuses.
No, it never gets worse. That's just not fair. No rule system should do that to you, and I've stopped this rule system doing that to you. So it remains as 2 minuses and 2 blanks. You still have the option to burn some stress.
Yes, I will use stress to turn one of those, so that the result is plus and a minus.
Fine. I will. I think I'll just keep that minus on you, that complication on you for a moment, and cut to Victoria. Oh, Carl, before I cut to Victoria, are you, just so I'm clear, are you covering the one that spun to a stop ahead of the truck, or the one that Victoria's convinced is following you?
I'm kind of on the side of the road, so if the other SUV comes to the front of the truck where our car is parked, I will have it in my field of view. If it doesn't, I won't. I'm just on the side of the highway, somewhere close to our car, having view on the front, the truck, the SUV in front, and if the other SUV comes to the front, it will also be in my kill zone.
That's fine. That explains why the roll would have been much better if you just focused on one, obviously, but you're trying to cover a lot of ground here, so that's fine. Victoria, what do we see you doing? Dylan has taken down the driver. Mia is still in the driving seat. Carl has run for some cover so he can get a shot if necessary. What do we see you doing?
Yeah, Carl's at Overwatch. I think I'm still in the car. So I think I'm kind of like turning around to see where the other SUV is, if it has come, or if it's preparing something, trying to look through the dark and everything.
Okay. Would you surveil for me, please? In which you have a skill of 2, so I need to see 2 pluses to succeed.
Hey, first roll. Let's see how this works. Oh, that's 2 pluses and 1 minus. And a blank, which is nice.
Very professional. So with that, I'm not going to do anything with that minus because you haven't got any complications, but you now have 1. So yes, you can see 2 lights coming down the road towards you. It will be here in a matter of minutes.
Oh boy. So I think I'm is there a way to signal to Carl that they're incoming, just so that he knows that they're coming. But I think the one I signal is like they're coming, but I'm covering that end, and he can cover whoever's left in the SUV that was crashed. I think I just signaled that in some way. I mean, I think I don't know how would you signal that. It's possible that Victoria. Nice thing with eidetic memory is that I can just pull some bullshit out of my ass. It's possible she knows some old Polish Grom signals.
She almost certainly memorized the Grom handbook one evening. So yeah, she's making the right signals. And at some point we need to she's making the right signals. So Carl knows that. Mia, you pulled the car over very neatly beside the lorry, or just ahead of the lorry, so that Dylan could just get out and talk to the driver. What do you do now? Mia?
I think you might be muted.
Sorry, I hit the mute button. My bad. I can see that Dylan already had to shoot somebody. This is at least it was quiet, but this is already going pear-shaped. And from the little I remember of my tactical driving classes at the agency, I want to make sure that this truck is not going to get away. So I'm just going to kind of nose the car ahead, just ahead of the truck a little bit with the nose in, just to make sure it's not going to get ahead. But the other part of it is I also want to make sure that the doors are accessible. So if we have to GTFO, we can pull that off with efficacy. So, I mean, I learned something at the agency. I didn't just piss people off.
No, you didn't. You did that course. It went very well. So fine. You've positioned the car. You can see the 2 guys coming up the road from where the SUV spun. Dylan, the guy is down. The door of the truck can be open if you want it to be.
Yeah, there's 2 people coming up to me. I'm not getting in the cab right now. I'm not sure it's bulletproof, and it probably isn't good cover. So if nobody's shooting at them, I will call out to them, hey, I think he's having trouble, this guy here. Do you know him? Do you know him? He's bleeding.
I have to know whether talk soft works when shouted.
Sure it does.
At 2 men with bulges under their armpits.
Yeah, I'm a tourist. No. But I can roll this. You just want... Oh, I've got 2 pluses. So yeah, works. Totally works. And I got an advantage. And I got an advantage.
So I think you tell me what the advantage is, but their pace slows, and their immediate reaction is, "Oh shit, maybe it all was an accident."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
So instead of coming on in that slightly hunched, eager way, they kind of stand up and just walk briskly towards you, with both hands in plain sight. Because why would they need to use these under their armpits but a tourist?
Yes,
a helpful tourist.
Yes, well, I will use my other advantage for, I guess, one of the others can use it if they maybe attack these dudes.
Any takers? Because
If
they
they
are
want
now
to.
sitting ducks.
I missed the moment of what did Victoria signal to Carl
That
about
the second SUV is coming. Quite
And
soon,
that she's
in a
got
minute
eyes
or so. That I've got eyes on it.
Yeah, I suppose. In that case, if the other guys are just like sitting ducks, I think we see. And this is the how I suppose they are just walking on the edge. I suppose we hear 2 silenced shots, and hopefully their 2 bodies fall, because we know that these guys, like who they are working for, we don't need them.
Go ahead, Carl. Roll to shoot.
I wonder if this one will be slightly better. Oh wow! Wait, I don't think they rolled, because this was 4 minuses again.
Now I didn't see a move. Now I saw a move.
A single plus, and I think I'm going to steal the plus from Dylan. That makes me having 2 pluses.
So one of them goes down. The other one dives flat, and takes a bead on Dylan and Mia in the car. Victoria, what about you now? Are you still in the back of the car?
Yeah. I just realized I really don't want to shoot out the back of this car's the back windshield of this car. I think is that SUV you said is like a minute away. Can I see it coming?
Oh yes. My guess is you've got time for an action or 2 around the table before that car will be pulling up to say what's happened here then.
Okay, I think so Carl took down one bloke, and his compadre is probably looking at while it's looking at Carl's direction. I am just gonna like move, open the side door, the least close to the guy, and just kind of lean out and just shoot the guy while he's not looking at me. You're muted, Alan.
Of course I am. It wouldn't be me if I wasn't. Shoot away, Victoria.
Okay. Second roll. All right, that's a one plus. 2 minuses.
And 2 minuses. I'm going to let you plug him for 1. Do you want to do anything else? Now, our tweaks to the rules mean that you can spend stress to turn any one of those other dice into a plus if you want to.
What happens when I spend stress? Like what does stress do?
Stress is the only real currency in the game. You have 5 stress. If in the game you overflow stress, you will take a consequence which is longer lasting. Yeah, and has more narrative than anything else. Weight. And there are a number of ways in the game to recover stress, including contemplating your symbol, having Carl treat you with his tough love, and otherwise contemplating your place of solace.
Okay, all right. I think I'll spend stress, yeah, to turn one of those minuses to a plus. And I think the advantage is that well, oh, go ahead. Sorry, you're gonna say something. You're muted again, Alan.
Normally, I can tell you hit him once.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to put 2 in him? Because not all of these characters will have just 1 hit to kill, right? Because you told me that they are competent.
That is true. That's
why it took both of Carl's pluses to take one of them down.
All right, I'll take that. I'll take that stress to do that.
Okay. Between your 2 shots, you get winged by a burst of oozy fire that he gets off before you put him down. So I'm going to use the minus that's left to inflict a point of stress on Victoria.
Ooh,
because she seems very prepared to kind of roll with stress. And that will then take me round to Mia.
So the front SUV is now down, correct?
Certainly the 2 guys that got out of it are.
Okay. But the vehicle's out of commission because of the accident?
It's spun out. I'm not sure I'm not sure you can tell from where you are, unless you want to try drive to assess its condition.
That would mean moving away from the people who are currently out of the vehicle, and I'm not going to leave them in case we need to make a quick getaway.
No, you can make a visual assessment from where you are.
Okay, well, let's try that. I want to make sure I'm not bailing on my teammates, even the new one. That is 2 pluses and 2 blanks.
And those 2 pluses are good enough for your drive, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
So I think that what I can tell you is that it is probably not permanently out of commission, but its hazards are going, and it doesn't look like anything is going to happen with it in the immediate future.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yeah.
Okay.
I yell out the window, Dylan, do you want me to stay in the car, or do you want me to open up the back of the truck? What do we need?
If we want to rescue them, we need to open up, but there's still company coming in.
You know what? I'm going to back the car up and basically do a bootlegger parking maneuver so that the car is perpendicular to the truck, and the SUV will they'll see the broad side of the car.
So just so I'm clear, is this to stop the other car being able to get past you on the free lane, or is it to protect the back of the truck?
It is to one, to protect the back of the truck, 2, to provide cover for us.
Okay, thank you.
And I'm getting out of the car and getting clear of it. Like I open the spark there, hit the flashers, get out of the car, get into the darkness.
Fine. That leaves only Victoria, I think. Oh no, Victoria got out of the car. So, Carl, you've taken down one of them. Victoria's taken down the other one at the front. What do we see Carl doing now?
I think we see Carl sprints to the car. He stands on the front bumper. He stands on the car mask. He gets on the truck roof, and we see he just drop flat on the actual cargo part of the truck. And I think we see him. There was no point getting credit. There was nothing like preparation over here. So I suppose, he's waiting for the SUV to get in range, and then I think we are going to fire a grenade launcher at them, something like this.
Yeah, he absolutely has one of those underslung grenade launchers. Absolutely. No decent wet worker goes out without one.
But I think since we have a moment before they arrive, I would probably go on the comms and say, I just thought that maybe it's good to call the local police to come here and scoop these people, and then they can probably launch an investigation about why this company is smuggling people. Maybe someone can call them and call and get them here. And meantime, we will take care of the truck.
Okay, as soon as that truck is, I saw you get the grenade launcher. As soon as that truck's in flames, I'll call him, and then we can get the hell out.
I want to look if there's still somebody in the truck in front of us, because there were 2 guys getting out, but doesn't mean that this was all there was in. Before we're forgetting these.
Yeah, that was where I was headed as well.
Well, Dylan's first in motion towards the spun out SUV, jogging in a low hunch towards it, I'm guessing.
No, he's not jogging. He's just looking.
Oh, from where he is, from where he is at the truck.
He's next to the truck. He's just looking over and trying to see if there's somebody there. He's not running towards it, because if there is somebody there, he present a perfect target.
Surveil it is then.
Yeah, let me surveil. No. No, oh wow! I've got 2 advances on my surveil.
I will tell you that you're pretty certain, in the dim light from a street lamp further down this stretch of the road, that there is someone slumped over the wheel. And you have 2 pluses to use.
You're muted.
And you're muted.
I think I don't want him to stay alive there, so I'll use my advances for just a short little shot to the head. Just not leaving him behind, because he saw us.
I think you will need to get, because it's a good 50 yards down the road. I think you will have to get closer if you want to be that precise.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that car can take care of the others with this grenade launcher, and Mia and Victoria, I can do that on my own.
Okay, so you're jogging towards this car with the slumped driver. Victoria, what about you?
Seems like everyone's kind of like, I think while they're kind of doing that, I think what Victoria's going to do is she's going to go into the truck's like cab, probably like move the dead guy and look to see if there's any shipping manifests or info on whatever operation, what's it called, Baldak Shipping's doing.
Yes, there are. Final destination is Debrecen in Hungary, but special delivery for Dragovir. Which is, we know from last time, is a village in the Carpathians, probably no more than an hour from here.
Oh, that's the monastery, right?
That is indeed the monastery.
Okay.
So I know what Dylan's doing. I know that Mia has put the car and headed for some darkness. Carl is waiting for the car. So I guess the car arrives. We cut to the SUV coming. It disappeared into a slight dip in the road, comes up over a rise, Carl. What do you do?
I think we see from the driver view, like what he sees that the truck is stopped, and then we cut to the car just like lying on the truck, and we see and we see driver seeing some dark, quick moving object toward the car.
And let's see what happens when that dark, slow moving object gets closer to the car. Roll to shoot, please.
These are 2 pluses, but I'm willing to risk it and re-roll the blank, because why not? With my training.
That works for me.
But blank turned out to be a minus, so.
Because your training allows you to re-roll minuses, not blanks.
I forgot.
So keep your training ticked.
Yes.
And the only way to improve that from 2 pluses and 2 blanks would be to spend some stress on it.
A good question. Like, it's relatively easy to change context in hand-to-hand combat, but does firing a rocket, a grenade, count as changing context of the firefight?
Alas, no. Nice try, though.
Okay. I think
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what happens. You tell me if you want to spend more on it. So I think you hit. So there is an explosion. Yeah. And I think that certainly we'll probably see the truck do the SUV do one of those kind of flip 360 in the air and land. I think you need another plus to make sure no one gets out.
then of course let's. I'll gladly take it. So we have
And so I think that it lands and then appropriate cinematic explosion as the SUV behind explodes. So if I'm not much mistaken, you stopped it moving. The driver is certainly a known quantity now. There was an escort car. They were armed operators. All the obstacles are, I think, clear. So you now have control of the scene. What do you want to do with it?
Honestly, Carl, make sure your M203 is loaded again. We're going to open up that truck, and if it's a bunch of vampires, I mean, everything explodes.
Yeah, I confirm. Yes, like and we see this like Carl just like takes the empty shelves, like loads a new one. Yeah, I'm ready. Open it up.
All right, Victoria, can you put some light? Or actually, let's back the car up so we've got headlights on it, because I'm assuming it's a newer car. Probably has xenon headlamps, like super bright.
Remember, you got this from Mr. Happy in Transnistria. It may not be state of the art, but we'll put that to one side. You illuminate the back of the truck, no problem.
Can we just say that I come back from taking out the driver of the next car?
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah. It was only going to be narratively interesting if Carl had really blown the grenade, but he didn't.
Dylan, do you want to do the driving this time? Since we've got actually, yeah. Victoria, would you like to take the wheel? Because Carl needs to shoot.
Sorry, I'm a bit confused here. The car is where you want it.
The car is far enough back from the truck.
Yeah.
So illuminating it so that if we have to blow the truck, the car is not going to. Well, it'll probably get hit with some splatters, but it's not going to get damaged.
So all you want to know really is somebody who's with the car.
We need somebody in the driver's seat so we can get the hell out. And Dylan drive is 3. So.
What is Victoria's drive actually? Oh, drive is 2.
2.
Okay.
You are. The rest of us have it at 2. So.
So yeah,
I think I have it at 3, but
yeah. Yeah, I know. Victoria will just like sense the tone and kind of like, but in the middle of an op, she's not one for firing one-liners in the middle of an op.
Yeah, new girl stays in the car.
Yeah, and I've got that nice pistol that Carl hooked me up with, the one that has the shotgun rounds instead of slugs.
Hey, I've got an idea. Let me open the truck, because if it's just people in there,
you can talk soft. And console them if they need it.
They will feign dead when they see a guy with a grenade launcher pointed at them. Also, I might be able to speak their language.
Maybe.
So I'm seeing Mia and Carl covering the back of the van, which is illuminated by Victoria from the car. Dylan, you're on those big kind of lever things that open the back of containers. Yeah. Inside there appears to be, it seems to be packed with washing machines.
Well, that's a bit of an anticlimax. Look, washing machines.
Surveil, Dylan.
Yeah, I'll surveil. That was my next idea. I've got 2 pluses, so it's a success and an advantage.
And 2 complications for me.
And 2 complications. Yeah.
Those washing machines are a decade out of date. That's what you get for 1 plus. Do you want to tell me what the second plus gives you?
Well, the second plus gives me, I think, I think, well, it's kind of obvious that these were used to smuggle something, right? But my second plus might give me, can it be a person who's either hiding in there or being kept captive? The captive.
Yeah.
Cool. I want a captive.
From behind this kind of block of washing machine boxes, you hear a help, help.
In what language?
Let's assume it is. I think it might well be Arabic.
Arabic. Okay, that's not something I'm very good at. But we're cinematic, right? So yeah.
Everybody speaks all the languages. All the spy languages are spoken fluently.
Yeah, we all went to Sydney Bristol's School of Foreign Languages. Okay, I will call back in Arabic. Don't worry, we're here to rescue you. And then I go and see who it is.
I think that's all you need to realize, that this kind of wall of old washing machine boxes is in fact just that. It's a false wall, and it doesn't take you long to work out which one of these boxes moves, because there's nothing in it. And you pull it away, and first of all, you're assailed by the stink, the smell of people and waste and sweat, and somebody peering out into the glare of the car behind. Dylan, is that you? Says Mr. Happy.
Oh, fuck me sideways.
Can I suggest that that's a good place to take a break?
Yes, please.
Is 12 minutes past the hour long enough?
I think so.
Okay. I'll see you in about.
And just so you know, I got to leave it about in about 55 minutes. So
fine. So back in about 6, guys.
Yeah. Talk to you in a bit.
I'm fascinated by the fact that the Sydney Bristow School of German is famous in Germany. He doesn't sound like a natural German speaker.
Oh, no, she doesn't. She's terrible. And they say, oh my God, she speaks German so well and her accent is so impeccable. And everybody's like, what? She sounds like an American. Totally. And also her German is grammatically wrong, but hey, never mind.
Okay. Bucket, you here?
Sorry about that. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, the first one at the back of the truck is indeed Mr. Happy, who Victoria will recognize from files as a former colonel in the Russian military, now turned fixer in Transnistria, followed by a stream of you would. Well, yeah, I think you can probably fairly swiftly, Victoria. You're an asset handler. You know how to get stuff, how people to do things. And so, what approach, Victoria, you take to get these people to talk to you?
Well, just to be clear, we're not really. I'm still in the car, right? Or
I'm very happy for the car to pull up now because there's no vampires.
There's no vampires.
Unless they're playing very, very secret games.
I think, is it just Mr. Happy or is there a bunch more people in the
and about 20 or 30 others as they clamber out through this kind of hole in the back of the truck, the false wall created by this wall of vacuum of washing machines. Aged 4 to 70, maybe 60, probably.
I'm kind of quite happy to let Mr. Happy and Dylan talk. It seems like they have a rather cute relationship, and Mr. Happy kind of like called out to Dylan first. So I think
let's do that first then. Let's have Dylan and Mr. Happy have a chat. I didn't expect to see you so soon, Dylan.
Well, Vladimir, my old friend, good to see you. Didn't expect to find you in the back of a truck. Weird way to spend a holiday.
He holds a grudge over a football match.
Yeah, well, people are weird that way. I mean, you got us out of whatever the name of that place was for a football match.
Yeah, I didn't expect it to turn this nasty. I think Gusev must be in Lisky's pocket.
Yeah, well, come on. Do you know these guys? And I point at the people.
They were good enough to get me out of the rope that they tied me in when they stuffed me in the back of here. I think they've come from Odessa or maybe further east. So yeah, they've been in here for a couple of days.
Yeah, smells like it.
Indeed it does. As far as I can tell, they're a mix of Afghans and Iraqis and Syrians who paid somebody some money to get taken into the West. Where were we heading? I think Victoria got the manifest out of the front of the truck, didn't she, Victoria?
Yeah, she read that in a minute and left the files there. And well, no, she took it with her because you should keep those sort of files, but she doesn't need to read them again.
No, and the manifest said this was a special consignment for Dragovir.
Yeah, I think kind of like probably I was moving behind Mr. Happy to go with the truck to talk to those. There are people there, and I kind of like offhandedly say to him like, Dragovir, seems like you and your friends are special. We're a special consignment.
Well, I don't know what goes on at Dragovir. I told Dylan and the others God, was it only yesterday, the day before yesterday? I've lost track. That we knew that Lisky was delivering stuff to Dragavir, but we didn't know what. I suppose now we know what. And I will remind you that Carl found a cargo manifest on the original ship that listed a consignment of food and clothing to go to Dragavir.
I think Carl.
Sorry, I missed a bit of what Happy said. Was there much in? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Carl. Go ahead.
I think Carl just shoots a comment. Well, that's a weird assignment of food and clothing in one human package. Sad.
It's actually not a total lie. There are clothes.
So, Vlad, the last time you and I talked, you told me that you didn't want to be involved. Has the last 24 hours changed your opinion on that subject at all?
Whether I like it or not, friend Mia, I am involved now. If nothing else, Lisky's after me too. God willing, he doesn't know what's happened already. I told him you were going straight to Vienna, or I told Gusev you were heading straight to Vienna.
We'll deal with Gusev. I mean, the first part of the guy's name sounds like goose. Geese are assholes. We all know this. I mean, why would you tell him anything?
Mia, at that point, I thought I could talk my way out of this. I hadn't realized he'd made a deal with Lisky. I think in the way of dramatic necessity, I think we now cut to Joseph Lisky going through the diplomatic channels at Vienna International Airport, where he is met by Dr. Dorjiev, who we have seen at least at a distance in the catacombs beneath Odessa. And the conversation as they walk briskly through the airport with a significant entourage and bodyguard is Joseph is saying to the doctor, so Gusev tells me they're coming straight to Vienna. I want everything here. Strip everywhere you can if necessary. I want a ring of steel around this city so they can't get into it. Bring the Alpha and the Beta. If the new one is ready, get it here as well. And then we'll cut back to a roadside in the shadow of the Carpathian Mountains. What are we going to do?
Well, I think we should get out of here. Oh, yeah, I'm not muted.
I mean, you're not wrong. I can get the truck running again. The front end damage, I don't think it really affected it mechanically. I mean, it'll at least get you out of here.
I'm going to go into the truck and talk to the people who are in there.
Oh, I think they've streamed out onto the road. And unless you're very careful, they are about to slip off the side of the road into the forest.
Okay, so I think
that has to be better than going back into that truck.
Okay, I think I'm gonna try to corral them, kind of like, just like, well, not okay. I have to decide this talk soft or talk hard, but yeah, I think this is very much a case of like, I think it's a bit of either or. Yeah, I only have one there, but I think it is a case of like talking to the folks who are trying to slip off and just trying to get them like stick together and trying to figure out like who could speak for them. And I think the other three will see this. Victoria talks way more softly to them than she has ever had to any of these three.
So what do we hear you saying then? Because what are you offering them which is better than escape from this truck?
I think what I'm offering, I'm saying is like, we're here to help. we're here to. All I ask is that we'll go back in the truck. We'll take you to somewhere safe where friends of ours can take care of you. And look, I'll come into the truck with you if that's what you need. If that's what you need to trust us, I'll be there with you.
Yeah, that I think would probably get them. Might convince them to get back in the truck. Perhaps they think you're some kind of humanitarian worker. I don't know. Roll the dice for talk soft, and let's see how well that goes.
Yeah. Ooh, that's one. It's just one plus and 2 negatives. I'm gonna re-roll one of those negatives with my training. I know I'm holding people and all that, so or corralling people. It turns to a blank.
Okay, so that's success. They will agree to that, and you just leave me with one complication to throw at you. So yeah, they will get back in the truck when the time comes. But I'm curious to know what you plan to do collectively.
I'd like to know if there's any way to get that stupid wall of washing machines out and do anything we can to make that ride a little bit less awful for them. Like, I know we don't have hoses or anything, but can we, like,
Guys,
is there any way to
just
knock it out a little bit?
this is a public road. We just used a grenade launcher on it. There will be traffic. Let's get these people in there. Let's get out of here to a parking space or something where we can make the whole amenities a bit nicer. But please, I don't want to
Dylan,
get caught out here.
You've got a point. We need to get out of here.
Yeah.
I mean, people tend to notice explosions. Silenced rounds taking people out.
Yeah,
we could work with that.
Yes, come walk while talking. Yes,
Do I
I'm
need
trying.
to roll hack to get the truck running again?
No, you turned it off. You can turn it back on. So who's driving the truck? And we know Victoria's in the back with the people trafficked. Happy refuses to get back in the truck, even with Victoria. So who's going to drive the truck?
Is Happy driving?
No, he's in a state of some distress. He's probably wanting a drink of anything you have.
You know what, Dylan? If you want to take the car and keep Carl with you, I'll drive the truck.
Okay, I'll keep Carl and Happy with me, and then we go. Carl, if that's okay with you. Cool.
Yeah. Okay. So the truck heads off down the road, followed by the car. And about 1.5 miles or so on, there is a turnoff. It's not quite a dirt track, but it's sufficiently narrow and windy that you could get some distance away from the road if that's what you wanted to do. Yeah. Okay. I'm not hearing any difference. So I'm gonna go on.
Unless we have something important to do with those people, unless we think we can learn anything from them, maybe let's just skip to us after having let those people, I don't know, go somewhere.
Well, there are lights ahead. It seems like a small hamlet of some description. So you could let them go somewhere that isn't in the back of Beyond.
Yeah, we could leave Happy with the truck and the people, and then we could go on. I would prefer that to just now babysitting these refugees. That's not what we're here for.
The only concern I would have is, a bunch of Syrian and Iraqi refugees are going to be noticed in a small hamlet in Eastern Europe.
Yeah, that's what Mr. Happy is there for.
Yeah.
He's really good at his job.
Is he, though? Is he really? I mean, he managed to get himself snatched up.
Yeah, Mia, we can't take care of all the world. We can't take off the vampire problem. Okay?
We're getting there.
Yeah.
I mean, you took care of that footballer, so we have at least taken care of one of the world's problems. I mean, that guy may have lost the game, but he lost it happy. No pun intended.
He's now very confused, I imagine.
Oh, I don't think he's confused at all. I think if you ever see him again, he's going to say, "Why didn't you call? I left you voicemails. I sent you texts."
Yeah, okay. I walk off. I'm not ready to debate this.
So this hamlet looks like an attractive option, is I think what I'm hearing. Yeah.
Yes.
As you drive to the edge of it, I mean, it is like a dozen houses in, and there is a steep mountain rising above it in the darkness. And as you drive up to it, what the headlights of the truck will illuminate as some kind of minibus is parked just ahead of you, and as the truck comes into sight, the minibus flashes its headlights. Who's driving the truck?
I'm driving the truck.
What do you do, Mia?
I curse, because of course this can't be easy.
No, I'm just
I'm
burned
just
the
going to flash the
conversation off
headlights
Mia.
back.
Sorry, I missed that.
I'm going to flash the headlights back.
And a guy gets out of the minibus and begins to walk towards you, Mia. And he's waving. He can't see you because of the lights. And as he comes up to the side of you, I would say that he looks like a slightly overweight Romanian farmer.
Mhm.
And he looks up and in badly accented Russian will say, "Another consignment in so little time.
Well,
I have the minibus ready."
yeah, they're moving fast with this. I don't get what the urgency is, but I mean, have you heard anything?
No, I just do my job.
Well, all right. There has been a change of plans, though. I'm driving the minibus. They want me to stay with this shipment.
But it's my minibus.
Yeah, but they want me to stay with the shipment. I mean, if you want to argue with them, that's your business. You can argue.
No, miss. Anything that they say that's fine.
So I'm glad we see eye to eye on that, because I don't want to argue with them either. I'm just trying to do my job too.
Do you want my help to get them out?
You know what? That actually would be helpful. And I've got the comm switched on so everybody can hear everything that's being said here,
including Victoria in the back of the truck.
Yeah.
Dylan, Carl, what are you making of this?
I think we see Carl slip off from the truck, because Carl was, I think, in the truck with Mia. We see Carl just like leave the truck from the other side, and as the two of them are talking, hopefully Mia turns off the headlights, and Carl can just like get close to the van to just see if there is anyone else, or if this guy is alone, because then we can just like politely question him about where to go.
It looks like it's entirely empty. And that's probably the point at which you hear him say to Mia, "Is it just the one car this time?" And he's gesturing beyond the truck to where Dylan the car has come up behind the truck, I guess.
Yeah, that was the escort. They wanted to make sure we had extra protection for this shipment.
Yeah, but normally there are two, yes? The big black, really big black cars.
And I look at him and I kind of smile and I said, this time they sent some really good people.
I think this conversation has gone on long enough now for us to determine, Mia, just how well you are convincing him.
Sure thing.
Would you like to, this seems like talk soft, or did you just turn hard on him?
No, I'm still talking soft, because my thing right here is, hey, buddy, you and me are in the same boat. We're just trying to do our job and not piss any of these people off.
That's okay. Go for talk soft then, Mia.
2 pluses, 2 minuses. You know what? I'll take 2 stress to make that a 4.
Oh, that is such a good rule. I'm so glad we made it up. So fine, that is 4 pluses. So that is success and 2 advantages. So there's a distinct look of doubt across his face when you're saying all this, because this is not how it usually happens. But you have 2 pluses to play him with, any which way you like, Mia. Carl, you've heard that exchange. The minibus is empty.
Maybe you slip up behind him and say, "This is how good we are."
Carl, the other thing I think it's fair to say is, based on that exchange, if you were running this operation, you would expect the heavies to come with the consignment and help shepherd it. Yeah? So you're not particularly surprised to find there are no thugs or whatever else waiting with the minibus. But there is no one with the minibus.
Okay.
Sorry, Mia, I cut you off.
I suppose Carl would say on the comms what you just told me, that the guys alone, I think the bodyguards are supposed to drive with him just in case there's problem with the people. So Victoria, if you can convince the people to play along for now, I believe we have a very good infiltration opportunity to see what they are doing. Either that, or we can just, since he's alone, ask him politely questions where to go, and we can go alone. I'll leave it up to your decision. But the guy is alone, and he would expect the bodyguards to go with him. So that's how this is supposed to go.
Victoria, what are you thinking?
I think we'll cut to inside. It's dark and crap, and I think the only light has been the phone Victoria has. And that obviously has to turn off to get that communicate. And I think she kind of like sighs. It really smells here. Well, she doesn't say that, but it really smells there. And says, "I'm gonna have a hell of a time convincing them to play along with this. They all really just want to go home or get somewhere safe. But that seems to be the best way to do it. I'd rather not flag to Dragomir that we're on our way. All right, I'll try to get them to play along."
Okay. I think you can probably get about 10 or 15 into that minibus, Carl. So is that what you're asking Victoria to deliver? 10 or 15?
Yeah, I would say the minibus has like 15 seats. So if you can, we just need like 10 of them. And then we can like totally fool the guy, and then I think we can let the others just let go with Mr. Happy. It's close enough to the nearest village over here.
And that, I think, is a good cue for Mr. Happy to say to Dylan, "What's going on? Let's just dump them and run."
No, that's not the plan. The plan
I thought it was the plan.
No, it was not the plan. Look, none of this was the plan, actually. We're just soft. Look, these guys are a bit soft-hearted.
You just can't get people these days, Dylan.
Hey, Vladimir, if they weren't, you wouldn't have been rescued. You would be now in a very bad situation. Take it from me. So what I want you to do, what I need you to do is you go over there, you wait until everybody's out of the truck, because I assume that the whole plan was communicated somehow to me, and wait until these people are out and take whoever's left, probably the kids, and get them to a safe place.
Hank, you want me to get them to a place?
Sure. You're Catholic, aren't you? Do something for your soul, dude. Just for once. Come on, it's kids. You have a soft spot for kids. Everybody does.
Okay.
You
For
could count on
nobody
you.
else, Dylan. For nobody else would I put myself in this position. You,
Oh.
Dylan, will owe me big.
I've just rescued you from the back of a smelly truck.
Yeah, I suppose that. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Do your part.
So, Victoria, it won't take much effort to get them all out because they'd love to be outside that truck. What it is going to need is some convincing for 10 of them to leave the others.
Yeah. I think, gosh. Yeah, I think me myself don't know what to say, so I'm just gonna narrate it. She is just gonna like tell them in no uncertain terms that what they're doing is gonna help speed up making sure none of this happens again. I think it's like a lot of like rapid fire, like Arabic. She's saying, and this time she's talking hard.
Yeah, she's lying to them. Okay, Victoria, go for it. You're lying to the human traffic people.
Yeah, okay, so that's 1 plus and 2 minuses. I'm gonna take another stress to turn another one of those into a plus. Yeah, you get another to get an advantage, basically, right?
That's fine. So yeah, so they will do this, and you can use that extra plus to get the fictional positioning I think you need, which is to attach the rest to Mr. Happy, unless you've got another plan for it.
Part of me is kind of thinking like just to like, well, that's one thing, but the other thing was that like Victoria again will say that she will. I think her plan now is to like mingle with the people that are going to the minibus.
Okay,
that's kind of part that's how she convinced them to stay. That she's gonna come with those in the minibus and make sure they're okay.
Okay. I will ask you to tell me, who do you encourage to come with you? Families, the men, the old, the young, or the women and children? And I'm burning a complication on Victoria for that difficult choice.
Gosh, which one of those are like the most healthy?
Healthy young men.
I think that's the most pragmatic choice.
In
the one easiest to get
15 to 35.
Yeah,
you can find 10 of them.
Yeah, they'd be the easiest to get out if things go bad. Oh, okay. We're not bringing kids to the minibus, no.
Okay, just wanted to check that. Because, yeah, just wanted to check. So, Mia, back at the cab, Carl has checked out the minibus. This guy is in your pocket. You still have 2 pluses on him. What do you want to do?
I need him to tell me what he knows. And I'm just going to say, listen, they tapped me on the shoulder like today and said, you're driving to this village. They didn't tell me anything else. They just, and you know how it is with these guys. So, I mean, I don't know where I go from here.
Oh, you don't need to go anywhere now. The other people who come with you, they will help put people on the minibus. Usually 2 or 3 of them come with me, and I drive up to the monastery, and then I come back, get another load, drive up, come back, get another load, and then I get paid.
Okay. Well, like I said, they want me to drive the bus to the monastery this time. You know, I know it's weird, but what road do I take up there?
Oh, there is only one road.
Well, that makes it easy.
You far out of the village, and you just follow all the way up to the monastery.
Okay. You ever been in there?
Yeah. You drive in the big courtyard, tents, And then I unload the people, I go back, get another load, get the people. So that's burned one of your pluses, one of your advantages.
Anybody else have an idea for anything they'd like to know? Or Carl, I see you thinking.
Well, I tell you what I'll do. I'll let that plus hang. And if, when events unfold, you say, did the driver say anything about X? I'll let you kind of lay something on. Yeah?
Sure.
So to frame you hard then, I think this is some kind of infiltration, is it?
Sure feels like it.
And Mr. Happy is staying to babysit with about 20 people, 20, 30 people. The rest of you now, yeah, who's going as guard and who's going as undercover traffic person? Or, you know, or combination thereof?
I think Victoria. No, actually, no. We picked a lot of men to come, so Victoria can't pass herself off as undercover traffic person. So she's gonna pass herself off as the guard who was inside the truck.
I can't pass myself off as underground traffic person because, I mean, I'm pretty good at disguises, and I feel we should have somebody in there. And I don't know why I'm volunteering for this even, but yeah, well, I think once the idea was in there, it was like, yeah, I can do that. And then I was like, hey, wait, why am I doing that? Am I crazy? Yeah, I'm probably Damn.
Dylan, you keep volunteering for stuff.
Always wanted to be nibbled on by a vampire, of course. How bad can it be? Maybe I get immortal.
So I'm driving. I'd wanted to have a chat with Carl. And it's like, give him some stuff that's concealable. Give him some knives. Give him anything that we can like tape to him so he's got weapons.
Yeah, I have weapons.
I mean, you can find some impromptu weapons, even if it's only, you know, clubs, if the worst comes to the worst. I think they're a bit surprised that you're issuing with clubs, because the lady from the aid agency said this would just make it all very simple. What obstacles are you expecting to find at the monastery, which I think is where you now know? Because I think certainly at some point we'll have had a shot where maybe when Happy is milling about with these people trying to corral them, we'll find he trips over a fallen sign and it says Dragovir Monastery this way. So what obstacles are we expecting to find there? And again, phrase it in a way that gives you some spotlight. Victoria, what do you think?
It's large. It's a proper, like, twisty sort of maze of a monastery.
I like that. It's large and easy to get lost in. Dylan.
What obstacle I expect? I guess, I mean, I'm going to be corralled with these folks, and then what I expect there to be is I will have to get out of there, obviously.
So,
and then,
sorry, go on.
And then I expect that I will have to sneak through the castle to A, find the others, and B, find out what's going on. Maybe find the vampire we're all wanting to fight, right?
So the obstacle is that
I've got a better idea. The obstacle is I have got to get out and find the library.
Okay, need to find the library, so the obstacle would be something like the library is the key. ... Yeah. Okay. Carl, what are you expecting to have to overcome up there?
Well, I think that it would be difficult for all of us, but I think we just like don't look at those as their goons. Yes, their goons probably like have some kind of tattoos. I don't know, are all from one unit, dressed similarly. We are also dressed similarly, but we are definitely not their goons.
I think it's very true that we don't look like Bratva soldiers. Yeah, absolutely true. Mia.
All right. So I need a little bit of help with this one, I think, because it's coming up on the time that I need to leave. So I want to think of something that will benefit the team. So I'm wondering if, in this case, one of the complications is that none of the stuff is particularly hackable. Like the computers in this facility aren't on a network. They aren't connected. You can't access them through Wi-Fi or anything like that. So and that's even if there are computers present. It may just be all paper. So it might be something where you could use my know skill to give information to the people about the monastery, floor plans, where things are likely to be. There may have been changes, but this is what the historical records showed about this place. Is that reasonable and fair, do you think? You're muted.
I think that's fine. I'm trying to turn that into an obstacle. What I'm going to say is, for dramatic license, and because we know you have to slip away shortly, I'm going to say that Mia has to hack this. The system is old-fashioned, so this is not floating about with a phone. This is about cutting cables and splicing stuff.
You got to find the actual system and use the terminal.
Okay, and then that will give me dramatic license to have you busy against that wall over there.
Okay.
Okay.
Perfect. Do you want me to go ahead and roll now, or?
Yes, please.
All right. You know what? We're coming up on the end of the session. I'm just going to use my trademark skill. So there's 4 pluses.
Why wouldn't you?
And so I would like to hand those to everybody and say, ask whatever your questions you want.
I'm going to leave that as open. So the first one wins you the success. So when the time comes, you will have hacked the system, ruined the lights, found a document that needs interpreting, whatever it is. And so the team has got 3 pluses to play with, to spend on anything Mia might have done. Yeah?
That sounds fair to me. And with that, I know it's a little bit earlier than I said, but I have a sneaking suspicion this is the final bit of the game. So I will go ahead and take my leave having done that. Thank you all. It's been fun as always.
Really appreciate that sensitivity, Puckett. It's really kind of you, because that is a logical, dramatic pause. By all means, feel free to drop me some feedback in the Slack, and I'll see you next week.
This session feels like it's clicking. So, and Leandro, I wish you were going to be with us next week and do the rest of it. So, who knows? Maybe you will be. Talk to you all soon. Be well.
See you, Puckett. Bye now. So, I'm going to cut to approaching the top of this winding Carpathian road come cart track.
Excuse. I'm confused, and I can't use the chat to ask this. So, what was Victoria's obstacle again?
Sorry, it's in the basic mechanics now. So I've got large and easy to get lost in. The library is the key, and we don't look like Bratva soldiers. And I'm going to replace what I said about old school to say Mia gifts the team 3 times plus on stuff that Mia might be able to do or know. Okay? So, I think that probably the first of those obstacles is we don't look like Bratva soldiers. So as you're making your way up this winding goat track of a road, clearly the truck couldn't get anywhere near this. What are you thinking? Because Dylan is pretending to be one of the people who've been trafficked. Victoria, I think, is looking to be a guard. So is Carl. Mia is driving. So what are we thinking as you begin to approach the monastery? And I think I put a picture of the monastery somewhere, or did I? Oh, yes, I did. Yeah. Yeah. So you are approaching this gate. And I will tell you now that there are 2 Bratva goons either side of that gate. The gate is wide enough to drive the minibus through. As you approach, I will tell you that there is sufficient light. It looks like someone set up some floodlights in this open space in the monastery. So you do not look like Bratva goons. So how are you going to get past them?
I think Victoria would kind of takes the lead with this, even though she's probably the one who looks least like a Bratva goon. I think what she'll do is like she'll kind of like, are any of the 2 guards, are they going to come up to the front to the bus?
I think Mia will want to signal about whether she should slow down. They're certainly not just waving it through.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna step out of the bus and go up to one of them and say like, "Need a shipment for Dragovir," and I think she pulls out from under her sweater the files and manifest that she got from the truck.
Okay, let's see. That sounds like talk soft. Convincing your way past.
Yeah. I mean, if they got questions on why a clearly British lady is doing this, she's got an answer for that.
Yeah, and we're okay. So she sells them on that, but then I'm going to spend one of the 2 minuses unless you do something with it.
I already used up my training. I'm going to spend under stress. Dancing on the edge.
So you're leaving me with 1 minus. So I'm going to spend that 1 minus, unless you tell me not to say something like, who the fuck are you? In badly accented Bratva Russian. So you've got all the paperwork.
I think.
How do you want to spend the plus that you created?
I think I'm gonna spend it on her explanation, which is that, did you hear? We're branching out. We're going big now, and what we're doing, we're branching all over Europe, and you need people like me to do that.
And do you know, I think I'm going to give you a gift for that plus. That your skimming of the Lisky Bratva files tells you that behind his back, his people call him Uncle Joe. So if you scatter Uncle Joe in there, I think that might make them think, oh, well, maybe she is one of us.
Yeah. I think it just says like Uncle Joe's spreading out, and through that she needs people all over the place, and I'm one of those people, and I'm normally not meant to be in a job like this. I got nicer things to do, but someone has to start at the bottom. That's me.
Okay, I think that they're assuming that the rules about prison tattoos have been relaxed a bit, and they wave the truck through. And you come out into a large kind of quadrangle, probably about 50 or 60 yards across. In the middle, there's a church, because I can't resist a good picture. that's the church in the middle of this big quadrangle. And there are lights inside. There are great kind of vertical walls of windows. This was clearly once a very large monastery. So the inside walls of this quadrangle probably go up 4 floors, studded with windows at every level. But it looks like the people being trafficked through Dragavir are being kept in tents behind some barbed wire fencing in the corner of the quadrangle. And in the opposite side from them, there is a significant presence of Bratva goons. Some of them are facing into the quadrangle, but some of them are facing into the corner. What do you do?
I think that as we are stopping there, just before we like open the door and start unleashing, Carl says, "Listen, folks, we are in the hornet's nest. We need to play it cool, and hopefully we can get everyone safely out. So keep your wits about it. Keep your eyes open. And I know, Victoria, this isn't how you usually get involved. You like to manage everything from afar, but you're doing damn fine in the field as well."
Thanks for assuming about my life.
I think that was a morale building treat, Carl. Am I right?
Yeah. Yes, that was the idea.
So roll to see if you can buoy people up.
I got 2 pluses.
So that is 2 points of stress to be removed across the team. So who wants to lose a point of stress? I have to say, I'm looking at Victoria.
Yeah, buyer's a bit more time. With that amount of stress, I was expecting her to buy it today, but I'll lose a point for now. If that's all right with folks.
Yeah, sure.
You can lose 2 of them. I'm not that stressed.
I'll make it even, I guess.
I think it was particularly focused at Victoria. That you need to know that was much more positive than his usual approach to morale.
Okay.
So a guard is kind of gesturing the minibus to turn around so we can drive out, presumably, and then a couple of guys in fatigues with submachine guns. Oh no, pistols. This isn't that tough. Kind of just gesture, get them off the minibus.
Yeah, I suppose just like Carl open the doors and just like let the guys go. But yeah, I suppose. Oh God! If I will have to roll for it, it will be very bad. But I think for some weird reason, Dylan is the last one, and Carl just like stops him and just like says loud enough that everyone can hear, like, "You are for a special treat, my boy," and just like loudly speaking, apparently to nobody, but the Bratva goons hear it. I will take you directly to meet the boss here, just like kind of like signaling that you handle this like group that we just brought, and we will go with this guy somewhere else.
And I will pretend to be totally and not knowing what's going on, and I will say, "Is this? But I did not do anything. I'm just I just a refugee." And I try to pretend like I'm frightened, and I try to pretend I'm a bit guilty, even like I have some vague idea about why he wants me to do this.
I mean, I hate to say this, Carl, But are you talking hard or talking soft?
Uh,
I'm feeling he's talking very hard. I'm hurt in my heart.
I can't
Yeah.
make any argument about talking hard here.
No, I mean,
So-
I'm prepared to go with hard. That sounded like, I've been told this one's got to be taken over there, so I'm going to take him, to see the boss.
I thought that talk hard is like when you have a barrel of a gun to someone's head. That's when it's talking hard.
No. I think you are claiming a position of having a job to do, and you're going to do it. So I don't think this is soft. Go hard.
Okay. Wow, what a surprise. 2 pluses.
Who knew? Silver-tongued Carl Smith. And they say, okay. And they point towards the church in the middle of the quadrangle. So Dylan's being separated off with Carl in that direction. Victoria, the young men who've been brought up with you are being shepherded towards the tents behind that barbed wire, those rolls of barbed wire over there. At the point at which a little, not a procession, but one old man with 4 guards is being marched across the quadrangle in the other direction to where I described there being a number of Bratva guards in the corner. Yeah. So your guys are going one way towards the tents where they're going to be kept. One old man and a group of 4 Bratva guards are going towards the other corner.
Yeah, I think probably that we might like for a quick flashback that we planned this out, that Mia's staying in the bus. I'm probably staying with Mia just so like we can secure a way out. And Carl and Dylan.
I'm going to say that Mia has slipped away because she needs to be somewhere where those 3 pluses of technical support can appear from.
Yes. So I think so my plan is probably I'm the one staying near the bus just so we can have a getaway. But I'm going to keep watch where that old man is going. So I think it's like a survey.
Yeah, I think probably Mia has used some excuse about needing to use the young ladies' room, which I doubt is very salubrious here, and has disappeared into a corner over there where she saw some conduits coming down a wall. She's very conduit sensitive. So, Carl, you and Dylan are heading towards the church in the middle of the quadrangle, in the middle of this great kind of blocky building, which is enormous. Once you go into the building, the 4 sides of this, you will take some time to get out. Victoria, you lean nonchalantly on the car on the minibus, waiting for your friend to come back to drive you back down, get some more people. This old man, you notice now, is manacled and being marched towards this corner. And now you've got a closer look at it. That corner is pretty much cordoned off by Bratva goons. There are half a dozen goons, 3 of them facing into the corner, 3 of them facing into the quadrangle. And the old man is being taken into that corner where there's some kind of, how can I describe this? I'm going to describe it as, imagine that there is a well right in the corner. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And above the well, there's quite an ornate canopy. Yeah?
Okay.
And as you watch, and shortly I'll come back to Dylan and Carl, but as you watch, one of the guys who's guarding this well reaches over it with a stick with a hook on the end and drags 2 chains away from it.
Mm-hmm.
The old man's hands are attached to one end of the chain, and then 2 of the guards begin to pull on it, so he's kind of dragged towards the well. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to pause there. Carl, you're in charge. you're marching Dylan towards the church in the middle of this place. I'm going to have you get there unless you tell me you want to do something different.
I suppose we see Carl just like walking really slowly, just like hand on Dylan's shoulders. But like the distance between us is like quite short, and we see him like, Mia, we need the location on the library. Anything in their network?
I think that what Mia will tell you is that she thinks that most of the power is coming from that church in the middle. And I think as you get closer to it, you will see snaking away from it cables to a generator. And that suggests that most of what Mia is looking for is in there, or at least that's where most of the data processing is.
Okay.
That's one of our classes.
Yes. Just like asking like Dylan, do you still want to pretend to be, I don't know, the victim, or do you want to like, you know, turn your vest to their sides and we'll be both bodyguards here? I don't know.
It's kind of hard to do that in an open yard. I mean, even my capabilities have limits. I'm not a magician. No, let's just see what's going on. If I can find a nook or a cranny and maybe some of these guys' uniforms there. I mean, I have some pencils with me. I can fake a pretty mean tattoo, but
cool. Yeah, let's go in. This is where we need to go. If we find some other disguise, we will. Yeah. Let's go in.
This is a terrible time to call it, but I need a 5-minute bio break. Okay. Sorry, I meant to slip one in before when Puckett left, but I forgot. Back in 5. Don't know where Sabine's gone.
Sabine wrote on the Hangout that she needs to restart her PC.
Well, in which case, let me do that, which is slightly better. Well, then, until she comes back, she's entirely in your power. Dylan is entirely in Carl's power.
Yeah. I'm trying to think how to close it in 17 minutes. So I suppose it turns. We are basically going through this place, pretending to be like we belong, like we have the purpose in walking somewhere, and hopefully nobody will ask. We kind of like go from shadow to shadow, not really like So that's our approach. We wanna find a library of some kind.
No, that works for me. Let me help you tie up some loose ends then. Victoria, are you staying where you are, or are you tempted to drift nearer to whatever's going on in that corner?
Oh, sorry, you my internet glitched out there. What were you saying, Alan?
Are you content to stay with the minivan, or are you tempted to just drift closer to this this corner where the old man's now been chained?
Oh, I'm drifting closer. I'm absolutely drifting closer.
I think Carl and Dylan, because they're professionals, will see what's going on over there as well. And I think at the point where you're in the shadow of this church, the floodlights are on the far side of it, you're in the deep shadow thinking about what to do. I think a guard on the door will turn into the church and call, Dr. Vathek, I think they're nearly ready for you. And a man comes out wearing what I can only describe as 1970s Soviet biohazard gear, with what looks like some kind of vacuum cleaner, for want of a better word. And you can see he's pulling the mask on and the gear on, and he's walking towards the old man, who is now being dragged closer to the well. Yeah. And the guard goes with him, Carl. So you have an option now. The door is at this very minute unguarded. Do you go in or do you stay out?
Carl feels like there is some pretty savage thing going to happen here, but we won't. But the choice is we can save one man, or we can get some decent info, and so we go in.
Stay with the job. Stay with the job. Okay. I'll cut to Victoria's view, where this old man has now been dragged to the edge of the well, and now three guys are pulling on the chain, which is a pulley at the top underneath this canopy, and the old man is now hanging over the well. And Victoria, I will tell you that there is a heavy metal grill over the top of the well. I'll cut to Carl and Dylan. The room inside is clearly retrofitted as some kind of science lab. And lying on a gurney, on a trolley, on a bed. Do you remember the American soldier that you saw in the caverns beneath Odessa, Carl?
Kind of.
This is almost certain. Oh, there's Sabine.
I'm back.
Sorry, Sabine, I didn't see you for a moment. Just to give you a catch up, we have an old man being hoisted above a well in one corner. As you and Carl have approached the church, or the deconsecrated church in the center of this monastery, a man called Dr. Vathek has been called out. He's dressed in 1970s Soviet biohazard gear, and he's walking towards the well above which this old man is being suspended, carrying some kind of peculiar thing. Carl notices that the man who is on the door of the church has gone with Dr. Vathek, and so has guided you into the church. where you see what a retrofitted science lab, bio lab of some description, with a bed gurney trolley on which the American soldier that you saw in a coffin in the cavern beneath Odessa is lying there. That's where we got to. I want to cut to Victoria. They're inside now, so only you can see this. They will see what you tell them. The old man is hanging there, clearly and in great discomfort. And you notice a glow beneath the grating on the well. And the man we know to be Dr. Vathek is now gingerly approaching the well with what looks like a kind of a vacuum cleaner to all intents and purposes. It's got a long kind of plastic and glass structure and some kind of machine at one end. And he's approaching it, and the old man is saying, "What have I done? What have I done? And then the glow intensifies. And then I'll cut back to Carl and Dylan. What do? There are filing cabinets all around the room.
Are there any guards or other people
No,
besides?
they're all outside because that's where I think they perceive the danger to be.
Ha. Ha.
Remember, you have 2 of Mia's pluses to play with.
The fools.
I suppose Carl looks at Dylan and says, I suppose we have a minute, just like, I don't know, find something that we can use against them. And meantime, I will place those. And Carl shows us that he has like a couple of small C4 charges. And he particularly comes to the body on the table, like puts the charge like right on it and says, "Sorry, buddy, it's your time is coming up." and then he goes to like place the charges around the church, and then like, yeah, Dylan, just like find something. We will need to book it quickly.
Yeah. I'm moving. You're muted, Ellen. Can't hear you.
Dylan, what do you do?
I think I will take out my phone because I need to speed up the research process now. I need to find pertinent information as quickly as possible. So I will plug in some kind of USB stick somewhere so that Mia gets access, and then I will use my phone to help her navigate me to the points where the most salient information is, so I can download it on my trusty USB stick. And yes, it's in a rainbow colored. It's a unicorn head.
Of course it is.
I'm not ashamed. It was a gift.
So yeah, okay.
Guy.
So that's Mia's second plus, which is that she's ripping off anything she can find that is connected, because it's old tech, this. So the machines in here are wired together, but they're not wired to the outside.
Mm-hmm.
So probably she gives you some guidance of how to connect your phone to the machines so that there's some way that she can get data out of them. So yeah, she's siphoning data out as the clock ticks down. Victoria. Oh, go on, Dylan.
I would surveil the whole thing if I can find anything that is not machine-y. Something like a notebook, because this guy with the beard, he didn't look like a tech guy.
Well, I think that's probably true. And I think I will let you find open on a kind of open on a book stand beside the soldier, the American dead GI. You will find a book, and on the front, in very ornate handwriting, is the name Dr. D.G. Dorjiev, who is the man with the beard. And leafing through it, I think all I can say to you, Dylan, is roll to know to get any idea what this is about. I know, it's a big ask.
Maybe I can just pick it up and take it and then have somebody else who, I mean, this is like, oh my God, I have no idea what this is. I'm not reading a book right now.
I think you've rolled for no and discovered it's gibberish. It's a mixture of mysticism and science. Who knows what it means?
I don't know. I don't care. I just take it with me.
Victoria, as the light beneath the grill intensifies, you see what I can only describe as what looks like a kind of coherent swarm of deep red fireflies emerging from the well and gradually working its way up the old man's body. And you tell me if you do anything. I'll carry on describing.
I'm trying to figure out what to do. I think Victoria's kind of narrating this and is telling the other two to like hurry up. Did you get anything? And then she'll keep describing. I think I'll probably hear. Oh, go on, Dylan.
Maybe go and shoot the old guy. I don't know if that's
okay. I think what I'm gonna do is all right. I think seeing that, wait, shoot the old guy.
Fireworks inbound in like 30 seconds, so you can use the fireworks to eliminate the enemy scientist.
Finally.
And what Dr. Vathek is doing is, as this kind of cloud of coherent fireflies begin to creep up and engulf the lower half of the old man, he begins to scream.
Of course.
And Dr. Vathek approaches and, using this peculiar long tube, seems to be starting to siphon some of this firefly swarm away. What do you do, Victoria?
Think fireworks now. I don't use. I'm gonna tell Mia to cut the power, so that this place would go dark.
Fine, it goes entirely dark, and we'll work out. I think that's all her pluses spent, so it goes completely dark. The only light are the headlights of the minivan, the minibus that, of course, you left on, Victoria, and this dull, angry, hellish, deep red that is surrounding this screaming old man. And in that dull red light, you see the old man's body begin to crumble.
Okay, all right. I guess I might as well just shoot. I want to shoot all of them, honestly. That's there. Old man to put out his misery, and the scientist, for sure.
Go for it.
I'm really annoyed at all this happening. Well, not me. No, not annoyed, but like, oh god, I feel so bad. Okay, that's
Victoria. Shoot something.
+1 advantage. 2 minuses, so I'm gonna spend some stress to get another advantage because now's the time.
Those pluses turn into hits. Now I'll tell you now that Dr. Vathek is not a fine physical specimen, so you take him with one of the pluses. You can use the other plus to put the old man out of his misery before it gets any worse. That leaves you an additional plus and my minus to play with.
You know what? I'm gonna spend more stress. Because you don't get any minuses. I think one of those pluses is gonna be fireworks go off now, or not now, but like sooner than expected, just so that the other Bratva goons don't just get distracted.
But we are in the building with the C4. The fireworks can't go off any sooner.
The joy of that plus is it creates the perfect dramatically appropriate moment. You know, when the countdown seems to be going endlessly slowly. Well, at this point, we're at 2, 1, and then Carl and Dylan, I guess we see you running from the church.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think, Victoria, you had 2 pluses left. So I'm going to let you take down some of the Bratva guards.
Mm-hmm.
So looking at where we are in time, that has to be our closeout scene, doesn't it? So we have you booking it to the minibus where Mia is already in the driving seat and turning it round. Bratva guards are running to where all the aggro seems to have happened as you scream out of the monastery.
Yeah.
Does that seem like an appropriate episode climax?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, I have an excuse for if Victoria won't be around next week.
Well, don't kill her, because if Stephen drops out, you might be.
Oh, I'm not gonna kill her. Don't worry, I'm not gonna kill her.
You might stay with the refugees, because I guess they're latching onto us, and now
that's exactly what I was gonna go for. I think there's a moment where, like, we're back at the Hamlet and Victoria says that, like, she's calling an operational she's gonna call it here that, like, she's gonna take care of the refugees. And I think she mentions that, like, I mean, you notice as well that, you know, she was being quite soft on the refugees earlier. And I think she just mentions that, like, you know, for compared to most people I've worked for, you know, you folks are all right. Most folks I've worked with, they tend to start seeing people as chess pieces when they're really fucking not. So I'll take care of these.
I think that's great. I'm not going to ask, I think, for an epilogue at this point from Dylan and Carl, because we'll pick up with you next time. But I think I will epilogue the point where in the chaos, we see a number of the people who've been trafficked who were at the monastery streaming out of the gates. You know, it would be dramatically unlikely they all make it, but a lot of them do. So done, I think. Yeah. Okay. We have a minute left. So stars and wishes. Leandro, you're not going to be here next time, or you may not be here next time. If you were, what do you have any wishes for what you'd like to see?
I don't know. Like, I really like what I saw today. I would like. I mean, let's see. It's only the fourth session, but I do kind of want. Not that I want to wish catastrophe on our team, but I do kind of want them to run into one of the big lieutenants. Not Lisky himself, but definitely the doctor. I want, like, proper, like, before the finale, things can go a bit pear-shaped. That's my wish. Should I do a star now or do that later?
No, do a star now, because we're on the clock. I don't want to keep you too
yes. Yeah. Stars for everyone for just, again, I've gotten the habit this month of jumping in last minute in the games, and everyone has been very nice and accommodating, and this has been no exception. Thanks very much, especially with this system, which I've heard some of the troubles that has happened. I had to scroll up. I scrolled through a bit of that conversation in the Hangouts. There's a lot of debriefing on this. I think it says a lot to how you all, including Pocket and Steven, have kind of gone through and refined this, that, like, I didn't feel any, like, any friction with the system at all. And I really, really like these characters. I love that conversation with Dylan. Every time Dylan said some things, it's really cool. I'm trying to be quick. Carl just being like, yeah, I have a grenade launcher. It's fine. Just casually, like, I'm going to sit up in this truck. Yeah, maybe we should call the authorities. Lining up the grenade launcher. Yeah. And Alan, geez, I really should play more in games GM, because I don't know, it just feels like there's this, like, bleeding, heaving world there that we have to struggle against. And I think you manifest that world really well, for sure. But yeah, no, it's been great. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Leandro. Glad you enjoyed it. And, we do expect you to be ready at a moment's notice to step in any of the following two sessions, because Sabine, wishes, stars, anything you fancy in the time available?
Yes, well, stars to all the players, to Carl for his grenade launcher and the explosives, and also the pep talk he gave mostly to Victoria, who needed it, and to Victoria for being the new kid on the block and for being so perfectly like, oh my God, why do I have to be here? Why do I have to run herd on these guys? And I would give a star to Mia in case Puckett sees that, because she's just, I love that scene about the football player we had in the truck. That was so much fun. Yeah, and stars to you, Alan, for keeping it running. And I'm really curious to see where this goes. And we have 2 sessions, right? Okay, so yeah, what Leandro said, what the bit of a pushback from the bad guys, that would be nice.
Yeah, I think we're at that point in the arc where you were in the trough, you came up out of it last time. This time you're kind of peaking, and then there's an inevitable fall. No, fine. I think I can manage that. Pavel, wishes, stars, take your pick.
It's fun to play a murder hobo. So I had good fun. As before, Alan, your preparation for running like real world mixed with mysticism, operational secret agents was really fun. Thanks, Leandro, for joining in and creating such a funny and colorful character at the last moment. Thanks, Sabine, for playing our nice talking Dylan, who just offs people when they don't agree with him or draw a gun on him. Yes, and wishes. I just want us to keep this good pacing that we have managed to get to today's session. Plenty of action happened.
Yeah, no, I felt that as well. I thought we bounded along quite nicely, and I think you're all beginning to twig this thing about obstacles. Pick something that will excite you to be part of, and it takes a lot of the cognitive load off me, apart from anything else. So thank you for that. Yes, I thought the setup for taking out the truck was really neat. I thought that all played out very cinematically, and we had to have a car blown into the air. It's just dramatically and genre required. So thank you for that, Pavel. I love the conversation between Dylan and Mia, Sabine. Yeah, so both you and Puckett leaned into that. Because I don't think you've had a moment with Mia, have you? So that was really good to see that. And perhaps not the moment you were expecting, but I do tend to think that maybe Mia may be revisiting Tirsapol. And Leandro, yeah, thanks really for stepping up. It was really good. It was very short notice. But, if it had been somebody else, I might have had second thoughts and we'd run one down. But I knew that you would hit the ground running as you did. Yeah, my wish is let's keep the ball rolling. I can cross some bad guys perhaps off the Van Pyramid. All's good. So with that, I will ask you to wave goodbye to the internet and I'll stop the broadcast. Bye-bye, internet.